Well, that was the news summarized with Note Assist using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Let's start with our big story of the day. BSF has opened fire at suspected movement from Pakistan. On the first day of the new year, suspected movement was spotted in RS Pura sector of Jammu late last night. Over a dozen rounds were fired on suspicious movements by the BSF forces. Searches have been launched in the forward area by the border security force. A dozen rounds fired, viewers. Pakistan once again trying to push terrorists into Jammu and Kashmir, and this is its latest attempt being foiled by our forces. As we step into the first day of the new year, Pakistan is back with its same old tactics, trying to push in terrorists, and a suspicious movement was detected by our forces in Jammu, upon which they fired a dozen rounds. The search operations are underway in the forward areas near the border, and the BSF suspects that terrorists were trying to infiltrate into the Indian side, and upon noticing a suspicious movement, we have the terrorists being spotted. Suspicious movement by terrorists being detected by our forces, who fired multiple rounds. Gursimran is live with us from Jammu. Gursimran, very good morning to you. It's New Year, but Pakistan once again back to its same old tactics. Our forces, suspected the movement of terrorists in Jammu. Tell us about the latest that's coming in.
See, a new year, but the old tactics from the Pakistan continues, as there was a suspicious movement that was detected by the alert troops of the BSF that have been deployed on the Indo-Pakistan international border in the RS Pura sector of the Jammu. Late last night, the movement was detected and it was challenged by the troops of the BSF. It was more than a dozen rounds that were fired upon the suspicious movement in the RS Pura sector. It's important to mention that keeping in view the new year, the forces were on the highest alertness that is being maintained on the borders owing to any threat from across the borders, because there are regular such inputs that on the eve of New Year there may be attempts to disrupt the peace in Jammu and Kashmir by the adversary. And noticing such movement from across the border, the alert troops of the BSF opened the fire. We are told that 10 to 12 rounds were fired at the suspected movement, after which with the first light, massive searches have been launched in the forward area of the RS Pura sector. This is to ensure that there is no attempt that from the adversary is successful, because the forces are keeping a strict vigil. Apart from this, important to mention that on the new year, we have seen in the past there have been deadly terror attacks, be it if we speak of the one that has happened in the Nowshera in 2021, where we lost 2 jawans of the Indian Army, or the Dhangri terror attack that has taken place in 2023, when 7 civilians were killed by the terrorists after checking their identity cards in the Dhangri village of the Rajouri. So on the first, there always lies a threat perception from across the border, and keeping the same in view, the BSF was maintaining the highest of alertness, and this suspected movement was thwarted by the BSF, as after firing it was pushed back to the other side, that is to the Pakistan territory, and now the searches are underway, because there lies a threat of the first threat remains to be of the infiltration of the terrorists, second is of the drone, and also adds to this is the challenge from the weather, because we have been in the RS Pura sector yesterday also, and we have seen how the thin layer is prevailing of the fog, and with each passing day it is taking over the area, where it becomes really very challenging for the BSF to man even a few meters. So this was the challenge that the BSF has been facing on the front line, but braving all odds, BSF has fired 10 to 12 rounds on the suspicious movement, after which it is reportedly pushed back to the Pakistani side.
Right, Gursimran, many thanks for joining me with those details. The low visibility is being used by the terrorists to infiltrate into our borders, but our forces, who are forever vigilant, spotted the suspected movement and fired around 12 rounds at them. We'll get you all the latest, but now let's shift our focus to Manipur, because Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh has now blamed the Congress over the unrest and violence in the state. He said that it is Congress's sins that has led to such a situation in Manipur.